Hi, Fleta. Nice to see you.
Hi, Cheryl. How are you?
I am doing great. It's such a wonderfully rainy, windy day in Norfolk, but I'm really glad that I get to see your face. How are things in Keep Norfolk Beautiful lands?
We are trying to figure out the new normal, I guess, is the best way to say it. We're all working from home, as is just about everybody else, except for first responders that are out there doing the lion's share of the work every day. But we're trying to look at what the new normal is, how we re-engage the public, how we partner again with folks like the Elizabeth River Trail to get work done in the city and for Keep Norfolk Beautiful. So we're just trying to figure out what all that looks like and be able to get back to some facsimile of normal, which is probably involving face masks,
No.
always.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Tell me, just everybody who's watching, you're Fleta Jackson. You have been with the city for a number of years. How long have you been with the city, and how long have you been with Keep Norfolk Beautiful?
I've been with the city of Norfolk for 12 years. For 9 of those years, I was with the Environmental Stormwater Group. And so for the balance, I've been with Keep Norfolk Beautiful, and I'm the project coordinator. And my primary duty is litter. So
Mhm.
all litter programs, anything that has to do with litter, comes across my desk. That includes our Adopt a Spot program, as well as just any kind of community cleanups and events we've done in the past with the Elizabeth River Trail.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, I know that I have enjoyed our partnership for the last 2 years. I know that anytime that I am in need of some volunteers, and we have 10 and a half miles of trail. A lot of it is riverfront, so we get a lot of tidal debris and trash that washes up. And Keep Norfolk Beautiful has been working with us on our two cleanups that we do, one in the spring, which had to be canceled this year, which is our Great American Cleanup event, and we also do one in the fall as well. But you guys also have adopt a spots that different community organizations can take along the trail. Can you talk a little bit about those?
I'd love to. Adoptive
Yeah.
Spots are our oldest program at Keep Norfolk Beautiful. It started in the late 1990s,
Mhm.
and we have probably about 175 really active groups, but we have about 220 groups in total. And by active, I mean they religiously clean up. They will clean up 4 times a year, sometimes 6 times a year, sometimes 8 times a year. They are really diligent about keeping their spots clean. It's about a mile in length.
Mhm.
And so those are throughout the city of Norfolk, and we really focus on some litter hotspots when we try to assign groups.
Yeah.
But we also love to put folks on your trail, as a matter of fact, because not only is it lovely, but it is something we as Keep Norfolk Beautiful, and just for selfish reasons, for use, like to keep in tip-top shape. So we have several miles of your 10 and a half miles already adopted, but there's always room for more. So
Mhm.
there are a few spots that anyone can adopt, and it's perfect for families.
Yeah.
Just small groups, get out there and walk, bike. You can do any number of things.
Yeah.
Plogging is, it comes to mind because everybody seems to like to jog and pick up litter. I'm
At the
not
same time.
coordinated yet, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Talk to me about the status of cleanups right now in the city. I know there's been a lot of information floating around. I'd really just what's the official stance on doing cleanups at the time?
Right now, we are not promoting cleanups.
Mhm.
We are working on rolling out new safety procedures based on the CDC and the best information we have at the time. That's probably why I said something about masks at first, because we know they're going to be they're going to be like a grabber in your hand and a trash bag. You will need to wear a mask. We will all need to continue to practice a safe distancing, social distancing for a while. There are a lot of unknowns, and it's always safety first. with
Yeah.
the city and with everybody else, I imagine. So we're looking to fall with their fingers crossed that we can have a few events. It seems like October, November might be the time frame, but
Good.
we're hoping. We're hoping.
Good. That would be in time for the international coastal cleanup, right?
Yes, and that's one of the events we work with you in Harbor Park, that
Yeah.
section of the trail to do a cleanup there, and that's a pretty cool event where we
I
actually
love
track the litter.
I love that event because of the tracking element of
Mm.
it. A lot of times you go to a cleanup and here, clean up this section, and it's great. You fill a couple trash bags and you did your duty, and then you go. But with the international coastal cleanup, people actually log what they find, and all of that data comes back and is pulled together with cleanups that are across the entire globe. So we kind of can understand what the trash is, where it's coming from, and figure out better ways to start it before it gets to the end, right?
Exactly, exactly. So, and I agree with you all about what you said about the International Coastal Cleanup. It's pretty amazing. And we have data for 3 years that's on the open data portal with the city that we do the same sites every year, and we can track how many straws we picked up, how many cigarette butts got picked up, how many plastic bottles or cans or tops got picked up. So it's pretty interesting, and it's amazing data to be collected, and it is worldwide. It is one day. It's actually 6 weeks, but it is 6 weeks where we're all working together to work for cleaner waterways.
Speaking of different types of kind of debris and trash that you see, I know that PPE is a huge need right now, and these are things that are made to be disposable. But there's a lot of questions about how you should dispose of that. I know I've seen a few of those lingering in places around town that they probably shouldn't be, and so I'd love to get your perspective on how that's happening.
Well, you're right about seeing, I call it the new litter in town, that beyond the bottle tops and cans and other things you normally see on the roadways or in parking lots, we're seeing a lot of the personal protective equipment. And those are the gloves, the mask, and everything that's protecting you when you go into the stores or do anything that you have to do to go out and about, to do your daily, meet your daily life requirements. So this, we want people to dispose of it properly. Number one, it could be contaminated because you touch something in a store with this glove, and somebody's going to have to pick it up. And also, it's personal protection for you. We don't want anybody coming in contact with those kind of items in a parking lot, blowing around. And on a day like today,
Yeah,
all the litter is there.
especially.
So it would be possible that it would hit you, or fly into your car, and you'd have to get it off your windshield. There are a number of cases, but to put it in its place is very important. It's protection for you, and it's protection for the other person that's going to have to pick it up, and it's also protection for your neighbors, and just good housekeeping.
Yeah, so important. It's so simple. Like just put it in the trash can. And I will say that one of the efforts that our foundation is trying to do, and the list of amenities that we're bringing to the trail, we've got 20 trash cans sitting in a storage unit right now, waiting to be installed. So we'll be putting some of those up in locations along the trail where we're seeing trash start to accumulate, and areas that we're going to be putting in more amenities, so that we're being as proactive as we can to provide you the easy option to throw in a trash can, right?
That is really important, giving people a solution for the
Yeah,
litter. And
absolutely.
so that brings up what's going on with you, unless you have more questions for
Well,
me.
I think I have one big question, is that
Okay.
we've all been in this kind of stay at home order, and I know we've got a lot to worry about still with litter, but what overall, like globally, is this having a bigger impact on the environment at all? If you heard anything about that?
Well, I do know that around birthday, we heard a lot about clean water in Venice. We recently Yellowstone National Park, when they're reopening, they're saying beware of the wildlife because it's come back. So what that tells me personally is that the earth is pretty resilient, and if you give it an inch, it will try to take the mile, so to speak. So I thought that was very exciting.
Yeah.
We're not driving as much. We're
Mhm.
not going places, and for a while when we really were staying at home, the parks were much less littered. Things
Mhm.
like I didn't see litter on my way um, to when I had to run into the office and pick something up, which is in the middle of Lafayette Park. So that's why I
Yeah.
mentioned parks.
Yeah.
So you saw little things like that. I saw even my neighborhood street. I didn't see trash flying around on trash day. And that's
Mhm.
something I used to always see at some point. So I do believe that fewer people out meant less litter,
Mhm.
and it did give a chance for some cleaner air
Yeah.
and maybe some looking at where some of the pollution is coming from. I did just hear something on NPR this morning about LA,
Mhm.
and they don't know that cars are as instrumental in their air pollution as one might have thought. And
Wow.
there are a lot of cars, but they were talking about some other
Other factors.
industry related factors that might be contributing more. So from a scientific point, or just a you know data gathering point, that was kind of interesting to have that break that allowed that to even be a topic of conversation, because I'm not sure it would have ever happened in
Yeah,
LA.
yeah. Yeah, if you've never seen that model really present itself, if you're always looking at the low hanging fruit of, the cars or the thing, you're not really looking beyond that and some of the deeper sources. Um,
Exactly.
I will say that we are at the trail have been seeing increased use of the trail just because the city has closed so many parks, and we are really grateful that we're 10 and a half miles. So we were able to stay open because we are able to kind of disperse, crowds and
Mm-hmm.
populations. And we've seen in some of our locations on the counters on the trail, even like a 75% increase. And, part of that is due to really good weather. And part of it's due because our foundation has been really, marketing the trail and making people more aware of it. And so as the city and our partnerships with organizations like Keep Norfolk Beautiful have really helped grow awareness of the trail. Um, but May is also bike month for us, which, a lot of times people are like, oh, it's about biking and just people who love bikes and getting out there riding, but it's also about lessening your carbon footprint. So we've noticed people out riding the trail, families out riding the trail, have never done it before, had a real overwhelming response from our social media about it. And we started a few weeks ago a virtual ride series where we used to host weekly rides, different groups on the
Mm-hmm.
trail, and we had all these routes of ways you can use the trail and the city bike lanes to navigate, but they weren't really out there in the public. So we're post a ride every week on Friday. It shows you, it has all the routes, tells you turn by turn where you need to go, and then you have a week to ride it as when you see fit, when the weather's right, and then post those on social media, and then we share them. And this week we're doing a really great route that's around Memorial Day, which is on Monday. Um,
Fantastic.
and we have, as our community, when we talk about the importance of frontline, staff as those great responders, I think most of us have these roots in our military community, and we understand what that means. And so remembering to take that day and really remember how deeply we are as a community, rooted in our history and our military history. We routed a ride. It's about 12 miles. It takes about 2 hours at a very casual pace and has lots
Mm-hmm.
of places where you stop off at. Some of those great open air restaurants that you can get some curbside to go. But it highlights everything from the Armed Forces Memorial, which is right on the trail, and historic Fort Norfolk. But then it also goes up over into the new kayak, the Veterans Kayak launch, which is over in Highland Park off Collie Avenue. There's a World War II Memorial and Colonial Place, even a great mural in the Neon Arts District. So we'll be posting that on Friday, and we really hope people take this Memorial Day weekend to get out there, ride, get some fresh air, see all the great things that are still happening in nature when you're shut in at your house. The trees are still growing, the birds are still chirping. So we're really excited about that.
Well, I will say I think your trail offers something for everybody, whether you're a biker, a walker, a jogger, or just want to meander. It's different. It's not a linear path. It follows the river. You have different views. The Wyandotte Bird Sanctuary, part of it that you can go through, as well as downtown Norfolk. So it has some industrial vibe. It has a lot of eclectic little neighborhood vibes and little niches that you might not have experienced in the city of Norfolk. So I think it's a great snapshot of the city and the diversity the city has. And the military is part of it. It is part of it. So doing the virtual rides and giving people a way to get out. I've seen so many people out walking and biking, more so than normal. And it is a snapshot of the times probably, but I do think it's helping us reshape the normal for people. And I don't believe this will go away. I think that this will be one of the positives from, if you can think of a positive, from this pandemic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I firmly believe that everybody who was told, at the beginning of the year, you're supposed to get up from work and at your computer and go for a walk, and people are like, yeah, I'm going to do that as my New Year's resolution. I think now the people who were at under stay-at-home orders that really started to take that neighborhood walk and make it part of their day. I think you're going to have some people fighting to give that up. I think that they'll be like, no, this is a valuable experience. And it really has shown, not just locally, but nationally, the importance of having open spaces, making sure that we protect and preserve those spaces, because it really is important for your physical health, but also for your mental health to be able to go out there and connect with nature, and hopefully wave at some people and pet all the cute dogs along the way.
Right. Well, I have seen more of my neighbors than normal. Maybe it's because I am working from home and we're all waving from our porches or as we go by. But I think that's kind of nice. And I do think that just where the trail runs through, you're at ODU, you're where a lot of people work. So when people do go back to work in downtown Norfolk or at Norfolk State or Old Dominion or anywhere in between, then hopping on the trail during your lunch hour or just to get out and clear your head, I agree, will be the new normal and be valued or taken time for. And that's important.
Good.
So.
Tell us, I know if you want to get in touch with the trail, you can just email us at hello@elizabethrivertrail.org. Also follow us on all the social media. What about Keep Norfolk Beautiful? If somebody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way to reach out?
Well, we are on Facebook, so you can definitely get us that way. You can get us through the City of Norfolk website at norfolk.gov, or you can email us at our initials, knb@norfolk.gov. And right now, that's the best way. I mean, normally I would tell you to pick up the phone and call or drop by the Ernie Morgan Center in the middle of Lafayette Park and enjoy our eco garden, which you still can do if you would like to. And it's starting to come into full bloom, and it's quite lovely, even with pollinators flying around a little bit. So that's all up for grabs. But definitely email is probably the best right now at knb@norfolk.gov, but definitely the city website or social media. We'd love for you to follow us on social media.
Yes, give us that social media collateral that we need. Share us across.
That's right. That's right.
It's so important. Fleta, I want to thank you for everything that you do for the city, everything that Keep Norfolk Beautiful does for the city, the way you treat your volunteers, including organizations that are partners with you. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing. And we cannot wait for the fall cleanups to kick back up. And we're going to continue doing beautiful things for the city together.
Thank you so much. And we love our volunteers and our partners, and we wouldn't exist without either of those two. So thank you so much for chatting today and
Yeah,
inviting me to the
absolutely.
conversation. This has been
Good.
fun.
That's good. Well, thanks everybody. We will see you guys soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.